This video is about how to make a flute like this. It might be called a Native American style flute because it has two chambers, the slow air chamber here, which you blow into, and the sound chamber here, which has the sound hole, which makes the noise, and the finger holes that control the tuning, the notes you're playing. I've cut the holes to be in what I've been led to believe is a traditional Native American tuning, which is a minor pentatonic scale with the option of a sixth that wouldn't be in the scale. That's the extra note. You can use the same technique to make flutes in different tunings. If anyone wants me to find the positions for the holes for particular tunings, I'll see what I can do. First, you need to cut some 21.5mm UPVC plastic pipe into lengths. You want one length of 525mm, one length of 110mm, and one length of 100mm. If you're starting from a new piece of pipe, which therefore has a very nice end to it, then you want to make the 525mm piece the one that you cut from the end, so it has that nice end to it. Personally, I like to use a full-size hacksaw. You might get away with using a junior hacksaw. The end of the pipes may now be a bit rough, as you can see. We need to clean up with a file and coarse sandpaper. What I'm doing here is putting the sandpaper either inside the pipe to do the inside and then rotating the pipe, or putting it on the outside of the pipe and rotating to smooth the outside at the end. Now just a bit, putting it flat on top to smooth that aspect as well. Oh, that bit's still a bit rough. There, that seems good enough, I think. Next, mark out the positions for the holes in the longest pipe and also in the 110mm long pipe. I'll be using a pencil for this. You could use a pen. With the longest piece, you want to measure from the nicest cut end of the pipe. You want that to be the end that is furthest from your mouth when the instrument is finally made, to make the tuning as accurate as possible. Here we go. So 94.5 124.5, 160.5, 185, 210.5, 238, 403.7, and finally 433, though that isn't actually critical. That measurement doesn't matter that much. The others do more. 433. You don't have to measure it accurate to 1/10 of a millimetre. I'm just giving the figures reasonably accurately, because if I rounded them off and then you were to measure them, then that would make it less accurate than if I don't do that. So don't worry too much about it. I'll just give the figures in what seems like a reasonable accuracy, and then you can just measure it as close as is practical. Also, on the medium length pipe, we want a hole that is 27 millimetres from the end. 27 millimetres. Once you've marked out the position of the holes in pencil or pen, it can make it much easier to drill them accurately if you use a pointy thing. Here I've got an inscriber, which is, you know, a deliberately made pointy thing, but previously I've used the point of a compass, or you could in theory use a nail or something like that. Obviously you don't want to go the whole way through both sides, you just want to go through the first side. You want the holes to be in a straight line in theory, though you could instead position them in whatever you find comfortable for your hands, depending on the shape of your hands. Next, we drill the holes. I'm going to be using a pillar drill because I have one and it's really easy to use, but you could use an electric drill like this, for example, or a hand drill like this, or like this, technically called a brace. The electric drills make it easier, but it can be done with the hand drills. I tested it earlier. All the holes will be 9 millimetres in diameter. Be careful to only drill through the front of the tube and not accidentally drill through both sides. Next, you need to clean up the holes. What I'd recommend for that is wrapping little bits of coarse sandpaper into a cylinder. Here we have the sandpaper. Just tear a little bit off. There we go. There we go. There's a little bit of sandpaper, and then we can roll it into a cylinder. There we go, there's our cylinder of sandpaper, and then we can have a go at cleaning up the holes. See that? That one there is a lot cleaner than it was, so we just keep going and do all the holes. Right, this bit of sandpaper has got seriously mashed up, so I'm going to tear a new piece. You need to be particularly careful with this hole here, which is the second from the end, that being the end you blow into, because this is the sound hole. That's the one that will produce the sound, so it needs to be really smooth. Next, on the 110mm long piece with its hole, we want to draw two straight lines from the hole to the end, which we will then cut from the edge of the hole and straight to the end. There we go. You can see those two lines to the end, and then we cut them with, I think, the junior hacksaw this time, though you could probably get away with the full-size hacksaw. There we go, that's the piece that's come out, and now we have that shape there. Next we want to clean up the edges with the coarse sandpaper again. Next, directly opposite that notch we've just made, directly opposite on the other side that is there, so you've got notch here, and you want this side here, cut all the way down with the hacksaw. Here we go, very exciting, try to avoid cutting yourself. Here we go, right, let's see if we can do this then. I've done this before, so I don't know why I think I won't be able to. Always the first time. careful not to cut through the other side, you just want to cut it on one side. There we go. So now we have notch on one side and slot on the other side. Then cut the 100mm piece with a slot all the way along. There we go. There, got it. Okay, so that's that. Now just smooth off those cuts with sandpaper. Next we need some kind of adhesive tack, like blue tack from Bostik, or this is W.H. Smith's version. W.H. Smith doesn't exist anymore, it's become Jones. But you can get lots of different versions, but it's basically stuff that's a bit like chewing gum, but you don't eat it. Here's two pieces of different companies' blue tack. You can see one is bluer than the other. It's the one that isn't called blue tack. I don't remember what it is called. You get it in pink if you like. Anyway, put it together, a reasonable amount. You have to find out what is a reasonable amount. Maybe I know, maybe I don't. Stretch it like this so it's properly tacky. And then what we want to do, blow all the dust out of this. Now what we want to do is put this tack inside here and then push it down until it's in between these two holes and make it so it blocks the tube between those two holes in a way that's completely airtight. Right, push it inside. Here we go. Then we have a nice stick. You can use any kind of stick that will fit. This is a dowel. This is half a snooker cue. Maybe I should use half a snooker cue just for the laugh. Right, here we go. Get on, you. Well, it's gone too far now. You can see it through that little window. That's too far. You want it to go a bit further this way. So you can watch it go past the window. Oh, that's sticking out a bit. Push it back in. Oh, that's going a bit too far the other way now. I think it might be that this is too much blue tack. Let's push it in a bit. Right, so as you can see now, that's just about there, and it's not covering that hole at all, so that's good. This needs cleaning up a bit. Really, the end, it should be blocked just about where this end of that hole is, so I need to push that a bit and then make sure it's airtight. Right, let's see if this is airtight. Cover this hole and see if I can blow through. I cannot blow through, so it's airtight, it's absolutely completely fine. Excellent. Next, we're going to add these two pieces of pipe to this bit of pipe. Because they're all the same size and these are going to go on the outside, they'll be held in place by their natural springiness. But that also means that there's quite a lot of force involved. So start off with this piece, the one with the notch, the 110 long piece. The notch goes on the side of this that has the holes. So we need to put that in here. Oh, not quite there yet. There we go. That's made contact. That's on there. Oh, it's not the right side. I'll have to turn it round. There we go. The notch is now on the same side as the holes. Now, in theory, you could push this all the way and then add the next bit, but I found that that's too difficult. So, before we push this one all the way, add the next pipe onto here. Now, you want the split in this piece to be on the same side as the split in that piece. Oh. See if I can force this apart a bit. Put that on a bit more. There we go. Now let's see if we can get that. There we go. Excellent. All three are joined together now. So now we push them. So I'll just show this how this is currently. Let's push them on. Right. We want to push this bit so this notch matches up with those two holes. So this hole, that first hole, is where that end of the notch is, so that the air can go through that hole, then through the notch. And this end is just before that hole. There we go, like that. And then we push this bit on further until this edge here matches up with that edge there. Almost there. Right, it's gone slightly askew, so I need to turn it round a bit. Right, that should be it. Let's try it out. So that's it, it works. To play the traditional minor pentatonic scale, you have your two hands here, 3 fingers of each hand, but to play the scale, you leave this, the ring finger of your left hand, on there. You don't ever take that off. You just start with the right hand, take your ring finger off, then your middle finger and your index finger. Then on the left hand you just leave that ring finger where it is. You take off the middle finger, take off the index finger, and that's the scale. And you can do the same thing for the next octave, as I will show you.